And now, the big shot. Brought to you by Nikon, at the heart of the image.
Hello Singapore and welcome to the third season of The Big Shot. This is the only reality TV series about photography that will bring out the best in you, the photographer.
A neurologist, a freelance photographer, another freelance photographer, a student, a family man, a major in the army, a motoring enthusiast, just married, each eyeing the $20,000 cash prize and the coveted title of The Big Shot.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Tay. So my line of work, I'm actually a motoring and motorsport journalist. This is my racing helmet. Motorsports is something close to my heart and I enjoy it a lot. So when I have the time or the budget, I do take part in maybe a club race or something.
I'm from Italy, specifically from Sicily. I was offered a job at IMH and I do research in schizophrenia.
I don't think this is one of those reality shows where everyone is going to be like bitchy, because your photo is going to speak like 1,000 words. If your photo is damn nice, you cannot lose. If your photo is ugly, you're going to lose. You cannot cheat with all these things. So everyone can be a friend, because at the end of the day, your photo is your photo and it's your own job to take the photo.
I got more worried after I saw the photographs for the past season in the Facebook. Like the Dreamscape team, wow. I was like, oh my god. I don't know how to do all this.
I used to hate photography, but then because my wife actually likes photography at the time, I actually bought her a DSLR. She didn't know how to use it. Ended up, I'm the one who picked up the camera and learning how to use it, and eventually the journey starts from there.
I love having a camera with me at all times, and I would just keep on shooting things that I see unique. My dad was afraid that I would spoil his, so I think he got me a disposable camera. So I guess, yeah.
I'm a visual documentarian because all my pictures, they tell stories of the environment of what I am photographing. I try to put people in the best possible light. I try to make the scenes as authentic as I possibly can.
I love music. I was a music student before, and I love music so much, but I couldn't really express myself through the form of music. So I tried to express myself in another way, and actually I really find that photography really can help me to express myself a lot.
The photographers arrived at 7 a.m., but they were not quite ready for what was in store. They had seen the first 2 seasons of the show and had come with certain assumptions.
I was expecting some instruction on what I'm supposed to do, and there was nothing of this sort at all. Just a map and an unknown place.
I don't know where are we going to now, actually.
Are we really going to Yogyakarta?
Apparently we are heading to airport site, so...
We are all wondering, are we really going to Indonesia on the first day? I'll be very impressed if on day 1 of the challenge we'll be flying overseas. That'll be interesting really, yeah.
I still cannot believe it. I think it'll be a challenge in the airport, probably, something to do with Indonesian.
Yeah, maybe Indonesian Airlines, maybe the stewardess, yeah, this sort of things, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be flying.
I don't think we were flying.
Before they could take in what was going on, we had whisked our photographers to Yogyakarta in Indonesia, where all 8 of them will be put through 7 grueling challenges that will either bring out the best or worst in them.
Hello photographers. Hey. The competition is about to begin here in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. I've got your first challenge right here. But remember to read the instructions very, very carefully. So, are you all ready? Yes! Good luck.
The theme for this week's challenge is toy photography. Our photographers have been challenged to take a photograph that best depicts the caption, "I am alive." They have been given 15 minutes to complete this challenge. These special puppets are created by Paper Moon Puppet Theatre in the city. Can the photographers do an even better job of bringing them to life?
Oh my God, a bunch of puppets, which is not really the first thing that comes up to mind when you talk about something alive, right? So I came up with the idea of these puppets being actually real people waiting for the bus, except that there are no buses here, so the bus for me was the rickshaw, so I had this idea involving some guy passing by with the rickshaw, which was a little challenging because the first rickshaw guy was quite shy, so he totally refused to stop. Then he was convinced to stop, but he was far away from the bus stop. I had a problem of composition, like I couldn't frame together the bench where the other pups were sitting, and the guy who was supposed to maneuver the puppet, I convinced him to pretend he was the nice guy helping the old lady to get on board the bus, right? Luckily enough, a second guy, apparently this guy was the friend of the puppet people, so it was much easier to convince this guy to come along and play the game.
I'm alive, so I treat it as the puppet is like another human being, a group of people waiting for the bus. So the whole idea I had in my head was to capture the puppet with the streets, with the cars, the trishaws passing by, but I have a little problem. The puppet's under the shade, the sun is too bright on the streets. I tried to get a wide angle just straight on with the puppet sitting at the bus stop with a nice blue old kind of zinc, the back of it, a bit of the zinc top, which we don't find it in Singapore, but it's nice. I keep on trying the sides because I really want to get the bus coming in as if the puppet's waiting for the bus, but that's a bit tough.
Can I use the trishaw?
You can. It all depends on how you want to coordinate.
Actually, there are a lot of spots that I can take pictures. So I tried the first one with the gate, and actually not really the facility I want. So I actually moved on to the more rundown place. But I still not decided which one I want to use, so I will decide later.
The setup that was given to you at the bus stop,
yes.
You didn't like it?
Not really, because it's not the feel that I like. Because they look old, so I want to make them look like old men that actually abandoned. Okay. So yeah, I want to go someplace that actually a really abandoned place.
Right from my mindset was grandparents hanging out with their friends. One is with a guitar and then they had a basket. So I figured, hey, you know, they are hanging out somewhere, they're having a picnic with the other friend who is a bird lover because he has a bird cage just right next to him. That was the fifth puppet that I did not see only at about the 30-minute mark. There was like, oh, there's one more. By that time I went too late. I didn't have any time to put the fifth puppet in.
I saw the puppets, it's like as though they're waiting at the bus stop. So I wanted to portray that in line with the caption. Yeah, because the bus stop usually is not being used by puppets, it's being used by humans. So I wanted to capture the puppets being alive, waiting for a bus or transportation. I saw the other puppets that were put aside somewhere. I didn't quite like the designs. Yeah, so I'm actually quite happy with the human-like puppets.
I wanted to show they are in relaxed setting, like the trees, you know, like the best. Ideally, I would want them in a field.
Okay.
But so the closest thing I could do without, you know, running off too far is to put them with some plants, and yeah.
And then, interestingly, watching you work, you just forgot about your surroundings. You were on the floor extremely dirty. You did mine.
Oh yes.
Lying down, you got to the angles. Yeah.
Yeah. No inhibitions. Just really, you know, to get the shot, you have to put aside, I mean, safety first, of course, and then it doesn't matter whether I get dirty. You can always wash.
So we finished challenge 1.
Yep.
One word to describe it for you.
Phew. Is that count as a word?
Say that as a word.
Okay.
You crossed the street. You never came back.
Yep. In 15 minutes, I don't think that I should be trying too many different things. I didn't take photos straight away. I took like 1-2 minutes to contemplate, okay, what am I going to do in this setting? And as I was saying, I was very stressed at the start because I was thinking everything I think of, the others would have thought of also.
So do you think you've managed, crossing the street, to get a picture that perhaps is different and that the judges would like it?
I think that they should not eliminate me based on this decision and technique I've deployed today. Hopefully I can continue to survive.
We'll see.
Yes, thanks.
Do you use them at like performance?
Performer?
Yeah. How do you use them? In my opinion, puppets comes to life with puppeteers.
Okay.
I thought leaving them sitting down at the bench doesn't really give much life. This immediately came to my concept as a concept within this short time frame. Yeah, I definitely wanted somebody to handle them. I also asked them a few questions whether how are these puppets being used. So they did explain a little bit that somebody will be behind to handle the puppets and then to do all the motions and actions. Okay. So I wanted to capture a performer handling them and hopefully capturing a picture of the people who gives the life to the puppets. Yeah.
In one word, how can you describe how you're feeling right now?
Really?
The caption was "I am alive," and of course my subjects were puppets, so a little bit challenging. I noticed there are dry shows all around Jakarta, and I found them quite beautiful objects. I tried to use a wide angle, and I tried to involve the puppets in the physical and social context to make them alive.
I think you made the right choice in deciding to bring in the environment and place the puppets alongside. However, because of the exposure here, there's quite a lot of contrast. Maybe black and white wasn't the right choice because I feel like some of the details have been lost, especially in the driver. Can't make out his face at all.
Compositionally, I find this shot a little bit weak because of how spaced out the subjects all are, and you're not really sure where your eyes are supposed to focus on.
I like the use of the tri-shot. I love the fact that you made it like a documentary reportage style. But little details like the backpack, you know, it takes 2 seconds to look through the viewfinder, know it's there, pull it out, and I think that would have made a huge difference. Yeah.
I wanted to picture them like in our everyday life. She could be from the market, could be with her husband, and this guy was so cute because I managed to get an angle where he's just looking straight at me like as if he saw me taking a picture of them at the bus stop. So I also left some space where you can see the road so that it looks like they are really on street in a real life basis.
I'm not sure about the two security guards on the left side being in the picture. It just feels like onlookers looking on, which doesn't really add to your story of them being alive.
I think I would have preferred if you had just zoomed in just on the 4 of them, tilted the angle slightly and kept the story within them. The guitar was there, but the guitar was angled away at the camera. If you had tilted it towards the camera, at least as a viewer, I would know it's a guitar and you could play off that as a story.
Looks like you were working in some harsh sunlight, but the puppets are in the shade, so what that's left you with is overexposure on the whole left side of the image. I especially like the puppet who's looking into the camera. Not bad.
Thank you.
The title of this photo is Forgotten Heroes. I would like to relate this photo to the rising social issue, which is aging population. I want to convey the message of appreciate and treasure all these people, the hardship and the contribution of them towards the society.
I actually really like this picture. I think especially with what you just said, it has a very interesting story to it as a viewer. I can see that there's a story between the couple and what your explanation is as what the I'm alive. There's a good contrast between both.
My only gripe would be about the feet, because they're black and white and quite striking. Compositionally, they've been sort of chopped off a little bit, but I mean that's a fairly minor criticism. Well done.
I really like the composition. I think that's the most for me, and very poetic. Nice picture.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I see my idol.
I was going to say, all great comments from your judges, but of course you're a big fan of Jingda.
Yes.
How did it feel walking in and seeing
like,
that she was one of the judges?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, Tina is there. But like, oh, stay calm, composed. Yeah.
In order to make puppets alive, in my own experience, I would say light is the primary thing that will bring out any kind of life in images. In this case, I went to put all the puppets in a row, waiting at a bus stop because they're going for like a picnic. And then I just want to make sure that my light could enlighten their facial features on their face so that more life
can be seen.
This is nice work, and I think you pulled that off here. You have some really nice contrasty tones going on. My only criticism would be that I think that you really should have maybe more of the environment, which is the other way that you can sort of make them alive, if I bring them to life. Technically, very competent. Good work.
Thank you.
Personally, I do like the framing as it is, and I think the puppet second from the right, like he really kind of looks into you, and you know, you feel a connection there. Overall, a good picture.
Thank you.
I just feel the lighting is just very flat. I think, especially since you're trying to bring life into these puppets, a flat butterfly light may or may not be the right choice. I don't feel like you really pushed this image. It just felt like a very stock image. It was there and you just used the shot.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
In this picture, I rearranged the puppets so that it was seen as though the man in the center is playing the guitar and singing to his wife, and his wife then reacted by leaning nearer to him and acknowledging the effort. And a stranger right at the back enjoyed the moment. Through emotions, I wanted to bring the puppets to life.
It's a nice picture. I like the colors. It's also a fresh change from the rest of the photographs we have seen so far. But framing-wise, I think it's a little bit too tight. The left side towards the picture, where his face is almost touching the frame itself, that really kind of bugs me, especially when we can look at it in print.
Great job. I love the colors. The guy in the main shot looks like Johnny Cash. It looks like a portrait photography. Only thing is with composition-wise, it could have been skewed. Like, I can't decide if the main focus is the guy or the female puppet.
You don't need the basket. The guitar reflection is easily avoided. The composition is kind of awkward. If the main focal point is the guy, then his eyes are way in the top left corner. So just a little bit more breathing space and a little bit more attention to that. Yeah, I think that's great. Nice work.
It's a lovely, beautiful Sunday morning, and Grandpa and Grandma decided to take their lunch out into the garden to eat. The title of my photo is Love Will Keep Us Alive, along the caption of I Am Alive. Like the Eagle song, Love Will Keep Us Alive. So mistakes make us human, failures make us stronger, hope keeps us going, and love keeps us alive. So that is my photo about love that keeps us going.
I like this picture. I like the fact that you took it out of the bus stop. I love the fact that it's scale-wise, they actually look like real people. I love everything about it. Yeah.
I really like how the picture is showing them engagedness and activity, like looking into the basket, whereas most of the other contestants have just kind of positioned them to model for the camera. But I think there's a bit of wasted space on the right-hand side, because as the composition is, you kind of want to focus on the center of the picture, but they're slightly off-center, and your eye doesn't really rest. But other than that, I like it.
The story that you told is more or less the story that I read before it, so a really emotional connection. Nice work. Great.
Thank you.
The setting was at a bus stop, so it reminded me of me listlessly waiting at a bus stop for my bus, which seemed to never come. I wanted to portray that in my photo. I used the motion blur of the buses to do this. Ideally, I think I would have left out this tree. There was a nicer composition, tighter, but I think you would lose the essence of the bus stop scene if I did that. I think the biggest mistake I made for this photo would be this distractions at the background, and I know it's a big fault on my part. When I started doing the photo shoot, I swear they were not there, and that was so irritating because it totally ruined this photo.
When I first cast my eye over all the photographs, this is the one that jumped out at me. I really like it. I think this sort of simple composition is one that I like a lot. Great colours and your use of the motion blur, very creative and very well done. And when I first saw the people behind, I thought that was a bit of a distraction as well. But the more I thought about it, actually I quite like it, because almost everyone there, just behind them, is a real person, which I really like that. And I think you're quite right to be self-critical, but I don't think you need to be in this case. I think it all works really well. Superb. Well done.
Thank you.
For me personally, I think the distraction of the person at the back really does bother me. Maybe even a different concept if you don't have time to wait for the cars, just to make sure that you get something where everything is actually properly placed without elementary mistakes like that. The rest of it is interesting.
Definitely the most creative shot out of the entire bunch. I think most of the comments have been said already, even by you. I think you're aware that the composition, I think you could have cropped it slightly. There's a lot of negative space on the right, which I kind of like the negative space. No one else has really that much space. But I think that was an opportunity to put something in there as well. Maybe one of the people behind could have been walking, and that would have contrasted with the dolls. The fact that you thought out of the box was, kudos to you as well.
To me, puppets has no life until the puppeteer gives life to the puppets. So in this picture, I wanted to show a puppeteer playing or performing with the puppet, which is in the foreground. And in this picture, I also attempted to break a little bit of rules. As you can see, it is being focused on the background instead of the foreground. The three puppets coming together as friends to enjoy the performance, enjoying life and watching the puppet show.
I like your backstory and idea, but as you mentioned, you wanted the puppets to be brought to life by the puppeteer, but yet at the same time, you decided to leave the puppeteer out of focus. So it becomes very disjointed to me.
There are good things and bad things against it. Concept that you were going for, I like it, but execution, I think it fell flat. I really don't know what I'm looking at, what the story is. How does everything combine together to tell a story? It's a nice picture, but I just don't get it.
This image for me was the most confusing. Without your explanation, we wouldn't know that's the puppeteer. I think that maybe if you wanted to show him actually using the puppets, then that might have been an interesting path to go down. As it is, I'm just sort of slightly confused.
Photographers, it certainly was a very interesting first challenge in Yogyakarta. Most of you played it very safe. Some of you took a risk. Now, when I call out your name, please take a step forward. One of you will be eliminated from the competition. Vignesh?
Vignesh, your image was very striking. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. And that's why we've chosen it as the pick of the week. Congratulations.
Tilio? Jana, please join Tilio. Both of you are in the bottom two, which means one of you will be the first to leave the competition. Jana? You're safe. Tilio, unfortunately, you're the first to leave the competition.
I honestly didn't think they was that worst, but these guys are experts, so I trust their judgment. If they decided so, it probably means they have a lot of improvement.
All the best, mate.
Thank you.
See you.
This season will be full of surprises. Attilio's second challenge had won him his fellow contestants' praise and an exclusive spa treatment for himself. An irony indeed. Watch more of the action on this website.
Hope you have enjoyed The Big Shot. Brought to you by Nikon, at the heart of the image. In the next episode of The Big Shot,
And your time starts now.
the remaining 7 gets to pick the best spot for their next challenge.
This is not something they're very strong with.
An out-and-out task that proved highly demanding and unpredictable.
I decided to turn around and pickpocket him.
And some break under the pressure.
You confused me.
Just angry myself that I didn't see it before.
And all new The Big Shot. Next Wednesday at 9 p.m. on 5. Brought to you by Nikon, at the heart of the image.